Hi, and welcome to a new episode of IMO, in my opinion. We're filming again at Brewburgers, one of our favorite restaurants. Today we're going to start by talking about what's going on in the Middle East. A lot of us are concerned about what's going to happen for women in the Middle East with all of the turmoil that's going on and the huge changes happening. Does anyone want to talk about kind of women's rights in the Middle East? I know, for example, like in Saudi Arabia, women aren't allowed to drive cars. Is that right?
Yeah, they actually have to have a special person in the family to drive them to do groceries, shopping, to the mall, or whatsoever. And I was like, let my husband give me some permission to do that. No, I don't think so. But, yes, it's very concerning, all that stuff, and about the voting. Actually, if they try to, the whole situation that's going on in the Middle East about the vote, they're not going to be able to have posters of their faces on the campaigns. It's kind of like, how hard is it going to be for them?
If they run, you mean?
Yeah, if they run for any campaign whatsoever they're going to be doing out there. So it's kind of like
Well, they have to adhere to their Islamic laws, their dress codes. So that's one thing. It's kind of like an untouchable.
Par for the course.
Yeah. The other thing, the Middle East is a real stew pot. I mean, you don't from one country to the other. It's very different. From in Afghanistan, Taliban law, women would be flogged and killed in public, versus somewhere like Iran, where women can hold office and don't have to wear burqas or chadors or anything like that.
I have a friend who's married to an Iranian man, and we were speaking over the weekend. She's been to Iran with her family. So my first question, of course, was she concerned about, safety for her and her children? You think in your mind, not without my daughter, Sellafield. But she said that she's actually, as she's gone through the years, seen the restrictions on women's dress get less and less. Like the clothing, the dress has shortened.
Right.
So now you can actually see that they're wearing jeans because it's knee length instead of floor length. So I think it is progressing. I think that sometimes, though, as Americans, we think we know what they want, they being the women of other countries. A lot of these women, this is deep and in their culture, and it's a respect. Not driving and having someone drive is a sign of respect. Walking behind your spouse. And I'm not saying that all women believe that and that women shouldn't progress, but I think sometimes we have to be careful because we think it is this way in America, therefore it should be this way everywhere else.
Well, it's that benevolent kind of bully. But then there are the deeper things in terms of women's rights in families, lack of inheritance, unable to maintain property, or divorce, death because of adultery or something like that. Those are the deeper humanitarian rights that we would want to change. But you're right. There's that inseparable Islamic. A lot of people in the Middle East see the war on terror as a war on Islam. And so they're very defensive about, for women, having to separate that. And it's a lot deeper. It is a matter of us trying to spread democracy in places that is often Christian based.
Is it Tunisia?
Tunisia, yeah.
Over the weekend?
They just had a great victory in terms of a moderate faction beating their dictatorship.
It'll be interesting, I think, to see the transition, because I completely agree with what Jill is saying about how Americans, we think our way is the right way and the only way. And we try to force that on every other culture. So it'll be interesting to see now that things are changing, how it evolves.
It will be interesting.
Because it's definitely going to change in some way, but is it going to become Americanized? Probably not. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah.
Do we think is the change happening though because of Gaddafi? Is that the kind of turning point you think? Because things have been happening. I mean, Bin Laden and now Gaddafi. I mean, these are big named leaders, if you will. Is that where the change is sparring from, or have the people just had enough?
Well, I think Gaddafi was the longest serving dictator
Yeah, he was like
ever.
30 years in there.
So I don't know if I think it's going to definitely spark some change. I don't know if it's going to all be just because of that, but because of the role that he played, it's inevitable.
I think in terms of women's rights, it was probably Afghanistan. I think in terms of the Middle East itself politically, I really think it was Egypt.
Interesting.
I think it was really Egypt that created the idea that, we can make a change, peaceful change, And I think that spread. I think it was always there, but I think Egypt having taken that action, that really
Well, it's fascinating too that social media, if you will,
Exactly.
has evolved.
Phenomenally.
Has evolved. I mean, we in this country, I think, just think it's about putting up a video of somebody doing the Thriller dance, on YouTube. But actually, people around the world are making big political and social changes because of these new media outlets available to them.
And to be honest with you, that's how I first found out that Bin Laden. I mean, I took a little nap. I woke up and I'm like checking my Twitter, and it's just like my timeline, my feed is just like, oh my gosh, like this really just happened.
Right, yeah.
Because that's
yeah.
all I've ever known, basically, in my awareness during my political life. Social
Absolutely.
media.
Social media.
Yeah.
Well, I do want to go back to what you both were saying, is that I think it's about balance, because like you said, some women in Saudi Arabia are very happy being in the role they're in because they feel really respected. I have some Muslim friends here who say, I love dressing the way that I
Modestly.
dress because men don't look at me as a sex object. And I know myself, I dressed what I thought was really modest, and men have said things to me that were very sexualized, and I think in the back of my head, well, I wonder if I was covered, would they, there's a whole debate about that, but I'm just saying that I really respect Muslim women who choose to dress that way, for example, as a sign of modesty. But there is, an issue there with women's rights. I think I was reading in National Geographic that a lot of women don't have a chance to be in the theater. They don't have a chance to be in the arts because of the modesty issue. Although we here, I think all of us are very involved in the arts. And as a matter of fact, Jill, you went to something with City Stage. We had
Yes.
City Stage here a few weeks ago, and you
Yes.
went to something in the
I
arts.
did.
Right?
I went to, they had classic albums live at Symphony
there.
Hall.
I didn't see you. Yeah.
I didn't know you were there.
I was
Oh,
there.
I was in the fourth row, dancing like a fool.
Oh my gosh, I
So,
was like,
yeah. Thank you so much, Tina
Oh, yes,
Tiagostino,
Tina.
and the folks
And
over at
Bevan,
City
yeah.
Stage and Symphony Hall. If people haven't taken advantage of what we have here for arts, they are. Bring your kids. There was this little boy in the front row who knew every word
Oh, I
to
saw that
every
kid.
song. He danced. He had the glove. He was up. He
Michael
was
Jackson.
down. I mean, yeah, it was. And I kept thinking the whole time, here's a little boy that knows every word to Michael Jackson. He's dancing his heart off. Probably isn't playing video games every afternoon. Probably isn't into trouble, into gangs or violence, because he's embraced something he loves. And if we brought our kids more into that, I thank you. It was awesome. And they're doing classic albums live. The same group of musicians are coming back and doing
Dark Side of the Moon.
So.
For
Jill's
those of us
excited.
who might not know, that is.
Yeah, what's that? That's before my time.
The same thing. I was like, that's Pink Floyd.
See, we worked at Rock 102.
Oh my
Pink
gosh.
Floyd.
Before your
yeah.
time. Wow. I'm going to get my cake.
Yeah, Gina, I got some baby in my purse.
Wait, and so Pink Floyd, wasn't that with the whole,
wall,
people were
remember?
taking stuff they shouldn't be taking in order to relax? Coming
mean
up
like-
next, we're going to have an LMT who can teach us how to relax naturally without drinking off those papers. What was that? I don't want to say names of drugs. But
drinking off the
papers. I don't know. I never did
Lucy
drugs.
in the Sky
Never
with
once.
Diamonds.
Yeah, Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. All right, so next we're going to segue into our massage therapist. Karen Provost is going to be here. He's going to teach us a natural way to relax. And Jill's going to be our model for the segment. You don't want to miss this. Thank you. So we just got our food. Are you excited?
I am excited. This is a sampler. And usually
Right.
samplers have a ton of stuff I don't like.
Right.
But this is a good one.
This is a good
I'm
one.
excited.
Fried pickles.
Yep.
Green beans and
Mozzarella sticks.
okay.
And lots of sauces. So you can kind of try each thing in each sauce, which will be fun. It's like a little kid. I'm excited.
So which sauce do we try first?
I don't know. I want a green bean.
Okay.
And I'm not sure what this is at the end, but this looks pretty good. Good.
our desserts.
They look really pretty.
Ready?
Yeah, let's take a bite. Really good. I have the cheesecake. Alika has the apple pie. And their slogan here is everybody's restaurant. And as two vegetarians, we were both really satisfied with our meal. So it's definitely everybody's restaurant.
Definitely. They also have hamburgers and steaks and other things too, right?
Yeah.
We're right off of Route 57 West in Feeding Hills. And we especially like to thank Dino, the owner of the restaurant. And when you come visit, say hi to Dino and tell him IMO sent you.